Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Today I want to show you how to make epic cinematic trailer style hits and impacts with your music. Today I'm going to show you a few different tips and tricks such as layering and adding stutter effects that'll really help add impact and power to your songs. So this track here is a trailer track. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll show you the section that has all the impacts and hits and kind of show you what we're going for. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. I'll start by just going through each of the tracks and showing you what plugins I'm using and kind of what the purpose is. The meat and potatoes of this sound is this Damage kit. So if you have native instruments, you probably have Damage. It looks like this guy right here. It says Damage on it. And this is the Percussion Studio Armageddon Ensemble. It's just a bunch of like really big, epic, heavy toms and drums and stuff. So this is what the Damage kit sounds like. So big triplets with toms going down and stuff like that. I like to layer it with other drums as I go, just so it doesn't sound as robotic and it has more character and layers to it. So I also layered it with this Action Hits. I call it Action Hits. It's Action Strikes, native instruments, and I'm using the cinematic selection. So it doesn't sound good by itself, but it does add a nice layer. Get some snares in there. So those two together. And then right below that, I have another instance of Action Strikes, but this is actually the like hold the button, plays stuff. But I just love right when you hit the key, that big hit. I added this on occasion just when I wanted the hits to be a little more impactful. So not every hit, and if we did that for every hit, it would sound too like machine gunny, like the same sample triggering over and over. But on occasion and layered under those other drums, it's awesome. Yes. Down here, I have some loops from Damage, and earlier in the song, they're kind of vibing, playing some stuff. So there's this one, and that one. And so what I did for the hits is I just started and stopped these really quickly to give it kind of a stutter effect. And then this one, I accidentally held it a little too long on the stutter, but it gave this really cool clicking thing. And then I cut it off like a hard cut right when the next downbeat happened. So together, all of that sounds like this. All of these Damage guys are Kontakt, and it's like the Epic Tech suite of things. It's like, if you're not familiar with it, it's this whole thing where you just hold down a single key and it gives you a loop. And like each key is a different loop. So it's pretty cool if you're looking for cool stutter effects and like cool, not normal sounding drums. And then, so I sent my whole drum mix. I have a chroma verb, room reverb, as well as a parallel compression with the virtual mix rack FG distressor. Next is my whole, I call it the impact mix, but it's like all of my risers, drops, hits, things that aren't drums, that kind of thing. So I'll show you what that sounds like and show you how I made it. So all of these are different instances of rise and hit. So this, I think this one is the first one. It's called Magic. It like leads up to the initial hits. It actually sounds more like an alarm than Magic, so I'm going to change it. And when I'm working with rise and hit, if you're not familiar with it, looks like this, and there's a rise time, and then basically after that a hit. So with this one, it's a 3-beat. What I like to do as I go, and also because I forget, is like put the number of beats that each one is right here, so I know where I need to line it up to hit right. So each one of these tracks is a different rise and hit instance, and some of them are just the presets, and then some of them are custom ones that I made, or I'll get a preset and tweak it. It's just a mixture of all those things. And the point of these is to really reinforce the drums. So now I'll play the two together and let you hear kind of the impact that it adds. Sorry. So definitely lots of layers, and you won't be able to get this kind of impact from just one thing. So like if I had just the damage kit up here and then just one of these rise and hits, it just wouldn't be the same. You need different sounds, different textures, different layers, and it'll really help bring it all together. After I did this, also there's a couple other things hitting in here. My keys have just this like alarm thing. And then what else is happening? I have this really high guitar that I just put in there for one thing. And then what is this? Okay. Very heavy metal. So here's the guitar mix. Honestly, the guitar's in the keys, so it's like the alarm kind of sound with the high guitar, and then later there's that rhythm guitar. So weird random things by themselves, but when you put it all together, it adds some texture and melodic content to it. So again, it's all about layers. None of these melodic parts are very high in the mix, but they just add extra texture to reinforce those drums. After that, I wanted the whole mix to kind of stutter, except for the drums, because if you start stuttering your drums, you're going to lose that impact. So what I did is, I don't know if you noticed, but all of my tracks go to these submixes. So all my drums go to the drum mix. I have an impact mix, bass mix, orchestra, keys, guitars, and then all my effects are down here, and all of those also go to an effects mix. So I can just control the playback, control the return of all those all at once. And so what I had to do to accomplish this stutter is basically, it's called a mix minus, I think. But basically it's all of these submixes minus the drum submix. So might be easier if I do this. So all of these submixes go to bus 19, which is basically, I call it mix minus drums here. And then the drums and the mix minus drums go to this mix bus. That allows me to basically affect everything but the drums, including the reverb and the reverb that's on the drums in this mix minus drums here. And so I used the kilohertz transgate, but you could also use like a tremolo for this, or any kind of weird stutter effects, or anything cool and creative. So let me turn it off. Well, let me just show you the mix minus drums. Basically, let me open this up. So you can see right here, I've automated, it's called resolution, but it's the time, the speed of the chopping. And then on this other lane, I did the mix. So for most of the song, the mix is at 0, except for certain spots when I want the whole mix to stutter. And I made sure I set the resolution to be the same speed that the drums are hitting. Here's what the mix minus with the stutter sounds like. Okay, so a couple benefits of that. When the stutter is happening, it's going to make the drums hit a lot harder because nothing else is happening when those drums are hitting, because the stutter's taking it out. It's also kind of pushing back some of the things that might have stuck out too much, like that high guitar or the rhythm guitars, pushes them back a little bit. And then so when I play the whole thing, you get it sounding like this. So here's the whole thing without the stutter. Here's with the stutter. So much better. That's mostly what I wanted to cover. I did this in a couple other spots in the song. Let's find it. I don't remember where it was. So a couple other spots, like leading up to the phrase. 16th notes this time. Yeah, so just little details like that that'll help make things pop out. That about wraps up the tutorial. It's nothing crazy. I just wanted to show it to you because it was cool and hopefully it's helpful to you. You're not limited to doing this technique in like cinematic music either. You can do this. It would be great in like any kind of heavy genre or any kind of pop where you want things to like stutter or do weird stuff. Yeah, it's good for any kind of genre, not any kind, but it could definitely be helpful if you're in a certain kind of style or want this effect. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful to you, and if you have any questions or anything like that, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.